We did it.
We
Medicare
did it.
Mentors Media. Um, Super excited, you guys, to be chatting here with JoJo today. We were able to actually see each other in person for the first time last week at the Six Figure Medicare Agent Conference. For those who were able to be there, it was awesome. Great content, great community. Um, so much we could talk about with just that alone, but I
Mm.
don't want to get too distracted. I want to appreciate your time, Joanna, and get into some of the details around outsourcing and kind of a part two, an update, if you will. Guys, if you saw our live stream last time, Joanna was just getting started with delegation and virtual assistant and what are some of the things I can do? What are some of the things I can't do? And so this is kind of a part two, an update to see, maybe some of the success, some of the failures, and what's the latest. And this isn't scripted or rehearsed. This is kind of a live update. So I'm excited to hear it firsthand. So take it away. Let's hear it.
Awesome. So thank you, Glenn. So it's been a fun ride. I was really bad at delegating because I always have to do it right the first time myself. It's just that, an airport kind of government thing. Anyways, I couldn't do everything and wear so many hats. It was
Sure.
becoming exhausting, being all things to all people. And my time wasn't being used appropriately, doing $10 an hour work tasks instead of $300 an hour tasks and stuff like that. And we've talked about it many times. And I was like, well, I just don't even know how to give this off my plate. Like, I
Right.
thought I could only delegate it to somebody who's had managerial experience, licensed, knew what I was talking about, knew my lingo and everything. And since you train your staff, like your staff came to me really already trained. They already knew what insurance was. They know what agents are. They know to, they already know.
Right.
And then another part of my problem was because I had used them, I had hired my own assistant before. I guess you had the lead heroes, or I knew what it was. Like I hired someone to do some video editing for me, and she charged me by the hour, but I never knew what she was working on, or if it really took her 3 hours to edit
Right.
video. you know
Yeah.
um and like I didn't mind paying her and everything because I still felt like her what I was paying her was really fair, but I never knew
Sure.
what she was working on, or if she was working for me or 20 other people.
Right.
And then, the biggest concern I had is, people trust me with their information, and how do I protect it?
Sure.
Right.
That, you,
Especially,
that just came up too. I saw in one of the groups recently, someone had a question about HIPAA,
Mhm.
and it was, how can I use a virtual assistant and still
Yeah,
protect HIPAA?
right.
And it's just, there's no difference than if you had any other employee in your business. You have to protect that health information, whether it's someone sitting next to you, a virtual assistant, whoever it is, your CRM, your email, like however you're working, right? You have to follow
Exactly.
those rules. Yeah.
Exactly. So last time I think we left off, I was just starting to delegate contracting to her. Uh,
Yes.
and when I'm talking about contracting, I'm not talking about Agent Joe's contracting. I'm talking about Top Flight's contracting, like my stuff.
Right. Right.
And because we've been in the process of moving our entire all like 72 contracts, however many.
Yeah. That's a lot.
And it's a lot. It's tedious.
Because it's 72 times, two, 300, right? For,
Right.
because everybody's got to move all the carriers.
And then some carriers you have to do manually per agent, like Humana, unless you're built out, which they rarely do, you have to move each agent. Each agent has to do the agent assignment for them. And Anthem is the same way. Um, and Devoted, each agent had to send them the release. And it's very tedious.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out how to delegate that to her, because a lot of contracts look a little wonky. Everybody does contracting differently. Humana and Anthem completely different, right? And
Right.
so I'm still not at the point where I have her log into anything. She's not logging into my Aetna or doing anything like that. but I took some of your advice before, and I said, all right, if this is something I'm going to have somebody else do, I need to train them right the first time.
Right.
And so I Zoomed with her, and I had made a cheat sheet for contracting. And I think everybody should have this anyways. I'm probably going to
For
make
sure.
like a template, but it was all the information to steal my identity, basically. You know, like top
That's how
flights
you replace
NPN.
yourself. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
you have to. Yeah, you got to do it.
it was top flights NPN, Joanna's NPN. You know, all of our bank account information. You know, the answers to each of the background questions and everything. Like everything
Yep.
you need to fill out a contract for me, right?
Yeah.
And then I had her what she did was, she's amazing. She made a Google form for me to do that. So I had a carrier, Physicians Mutual, uh, who wants me to send them like an Excel spreadsheet of each agent's stuff, right?
Right.
And it's tedious. Like for I was like, okay, Agent Joe, send me your social security number,
Right.
NPN, thing in an email for me to then put on a spreadsheet to send to the carrier along with your PDF of your E&O. And I was like, hey Emma, there's a smarter way to do this. And she's like, I know. And so she made a Google form of what they wanted on their spreadsheet, where the agent can attach their, and it goes right to her, and then she sends it right to the carrier. And
Super
we're just
simple.
right, we're just making things easier, so
I
the
love
carrier
that.
doesn't choke me, because like one time I forgot somebody's stuff, and you know like the carrier, I had to send her a gift of Red Bull, a case of Red Bull, so it was like, please don't choke me. Anyways, but like
Peace offering.
that's what she's doing. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? And then so last week, you know what I had her doing while we were
Um,
at the conference?
no, tell me, what was she doing?
All right, so automation, AI is all the rage right now, right?
Right. Right.
And so every time like an agent comes over and, to us, I say, okay, Emma, put them on agency block, put them on my Google sheet, because I still maintain a Google sheet, even though I have a CRM. I'm just, micromanaging like that. And then put them in constant contact, and put them on my email drop down list so I can email blast everybody at the same time. And so, that's a little tedious, right? And
Yeah.
so I said, we're doing some stuff that I just think there's a smarter way. And so I had heard about this program called Zapier.
Uh, Incredible. Yeah. If you guys don't know what Zapier is, it's essentially a software platform that can connect all sorts of software together. Google Spreadsheet to your CRM to uh, a third-party application that's sending a letter in the mail for you. It can connect all sorts of different things. But yeah, so you set her loose on Zapier.
And I just said, hey, Emma, figure out how to make it go from Google Sheets to agency block to constant contact. And then you probably have to manually do the email drop down, right? And she did. She's like, okay, all done. And I was like, huh. I mean, she figured out my I had constant contact for 3 years and didn't use it. I didn't know how, And she, like, I told her, I said, hey, one of the first tasks I had her do, like maybe like a month ago, I said, call constant contact and figure out how to cancel this damn thing,
Yeah,
And she got back to me, and it was like a little more complicated to cancel. I don't know why
of
can't
course.
people do that just so you don't, right?
Right, right.
I said, well, all right, let's see if we can actually use it, right?
Yep.
And so I said, can you go ahead and make a newsletter, and see if we can like actually use this thing for what it's supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm trying to work smarter, not harder and stuff.
Absolutely.
And she designs a newsletter. I wrote it and everything. But she designed a template with the company colors and everything. And I sent her the URLs and the images I wanted to use. So on my newsletter, I have a picture of Top Flight University and the URL that goes there. I have a picture of Medicare Heaven, the URL that goes there. And then I have the Zoom link because we have Zoom training every Tuesday and Friday, and it goes there. Because I'm tired of agents saying, "Hey, what's the Zoom link for the meeting right now?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you were telling me that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
get that one a lot.
and so she created all that, and I was like, it's pretty cool. And so that's what we're up to right now. I have her trying to make the Google Sheets better and everything, so we can have a smoother ride and everything. But I mean, a lot of times, so my downfall
Yeah,
is
let's hear that.
I have to figure out her work before she gets to work.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's you want to be able to concisely explain, this is what I mean. There's times that you can be really open-ended where you can be like, hey, can you figure this out? And the idea is that they have, you know, the technology in front of them. They can look something up online, they can implement a solution, but something repetitive like contracting specifically, right, where it's going to be something that comes up over and over, making sure that you're really able to give them a full walkthrough on that. Otherwise, it's either going to slow them down or they're going to bog you down with questions, every step of the way. Like, hey, Joanna, what do I do when this comes up? Joanna, this carrier is asking for this. So, I think it's part of the process, and I also think it's one of those things that the longer you go, the less of it you'll have, because you'll have so much that you've already kind of explained. And again, like replacing yourself, right? Like things that only you know how to do. And I think you'll get to a point where that'll be less and less. But yeah, I think that's important. I think that's important for any type of employee, virtual assistant, someone sitting there in person. I mean, as an employee of other businesses, previously myself, it was always super frustrating to be asked to do something and I wasn't trained. I wasn't taught how. My manager doesn't know how to do it, but I'm supposed to do it. That's really frustrating, right? As an employee.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I figured for growth, I have to commit each day to make a video for something that I want her to do in the future, so that way when I'm sitting at a conference and I need her to do something, she already has a demonstration of how to do it. And I need to do that before we get to that point of like saying, hey, I can't do this right now because I'm out on plane, but I need you to do it,
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do. I want to make so I was actually in Salt Lake City with another agent who uses you. And I think I told you this at the dinner.
Yeah,
I found out that this agent has a VA through you, who's the sister of my VA.
Yeah. It's a family.
and she uses her VA in a completely different manner, which is okay because like I don't have Emma calling my personal clients yet. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I haven't had her talk to anybody. I was like, my VA has never gotten on the phone. I was like, my VA is probably sitting there going like this half the time,
She needs to, for sure.
She needs to. So Lisa uses, I'm sorry, she probably doesn't mind. She uses the same VoIP service I use too.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, she can log into your VoIP and you can be on it at the same time. I was like, I didn't know that,
100%.
And so we were talking about how she has her assistant, using her Go How Level and everything, the DFY. And I was like, maybe I can have my VA stand over the shoulder of your VA.
Yeah, for
anyway,
sure.
But like, I was like, we should do training videos on both of it, right? Yeah. And because I'm sure these systems come up all the time, right?
All the time.
Mm-hmm. And so that's probably the thing I'm gonna give to Emma next week is I'm going to port my phone number over to my VoIP because I haven't done that yet. Like this has been the problem.
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here and everybody, my clients and agents are all texting me and calling me, and like it's just easier if it was on my VoIP.
I imagine you porting your number and I just see you poolside. You're at the pool, legs up. Your phone's not ringing because nobody knows your number.
Right. I'm
Your
not going to give it
numbers.
to anybody.
Yeah, nobody gets your number. It's just family and friends. Like nobody has your number. Everything goes through your VA. No, I love that. And I also think I think getting onto the phone system is going to be life changing for you. I really, again, that was what really started me on this whole journey. As I was so sick of this. I was so sick of being the only one to answer the phone when it rang, the only
The
one
phone
to
just
make.
rang and I can't answer it.
I know, I know, it's insane. And you of all people, I know how many people have your number and who are constantly peppering you with questions. So I think it'll be a huge time saver once you make that move.
Not just that, but think about the tasks. So if you were to text me right now I have to look down and read the task.
Yeah.
And then I get distracted from whatever I was doing, right? But my VoIP system, if the text messages are going to my VoIP system
Yep.
on another screen, I can reply back and my fingers never leave the keyboard.
I think it's massively underrated, the
Mhm,
distraction of answering something like a text.
mhm.
Right? Most people I think are like, oh, it's Christian. Hey, dude, what's going? Hey, oh, what are you doing? Like, and you think that took me 15 seconds, but if that's takes your mindset out of what you're doing, that could be
And now I have
really
to figure out what I was just
costly.
talking about, right?
Yep, yep,
Mhm,
100%. Yeah,
mhm.
I think that's huge.
Like I use Facebook Messenger a lot to communicate with people. And the reason I do it is I can have 20 messenger conversations at the bottom and never miss a beat. I can have the conversations over here and be selling a Humana plan over here, and it's easier than answering my phone all the day, so
Yep.
I want to utilize my VoIP even more because I'm not using that service as much either. Um, and
You
so
know,
just moving more towards using the technology I've invested in because
for sure. You know
it's
what I
not
think?
worth it if you're not using it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cancel it or use it for sure. I'm definitely in that camp. You know, I know you were talking about getting a YouTube channel kind of up and running or getting more videos on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if you were doing a training video for Emma,
Okay.
if it was something that wasn't like super personal, like information wise. I
Mm.
think you could potentially put it on your channel.
Okay.
You could repurpose the content. You could be like, hey guys, here's a video of, me training my VA on my VoIP system. Maybe this is something, you could
Sure.
use for one of your employees. I think that would be
Hmm.
awesome.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people don't use assistants because they don't have the time to train an assistant.
We've refunded people where they paid to hire an assistant. We place them, they get started, and then they say, I just don't have time. And I'm like, the whole point of this assistant that you paid for is to give you your time back. So that one always kind of blows my mind because that comes up a lot. But I think you have to be super intentional. Like you said, I think you have to be super intentional. You
You
have
do
to
have to set
know,
aside time because I had
yeah,
to set aside time and okay, Emma, this is how you log into my book of business and download it to upload it. And this is how you do this. And, it does take time to set it up, but
100%.
now I have her doing my physician mutual contracts for the agent. That was a big pain in my butt, Andrew saw.
You're
you
like, whoa,
know,
did I just say that?
but
That's
like
hilarious.
it was one of the last contracts that we didn't have automated. It was a pain on my butt that I had to figure out.
I'm trying to remember too if this happened after I think it was after the last time we spoke, but you got Emma set up on some of the contracting. You had to go to dinner. So you left, you went to dinner and you came back and there was a bunch of contracting that was done. And it seemed kind of like a light bulb moment for you because you're like, wow, it's like you're in two places at once, right? You're
Yeah.
like, I'm getting this critical business infrastructure, getting agents contracted with my carriers that has to happen. Then you're also doing something else really important. You're at dinner with, people that are going to be making a difference in your business, whether that's carrier reps, up people from your upline, and having your VA basically help you do both at once. I thought that was really cool.
Yep. So I have her, she has access to my email, the agency email, her own email and everything. And like I just got an email, hey Joanna, did you get this contract yet? And I was like just thinking to myself, like Emma's gonna see that and go find the contract and see if I did it or she, because she's one of her jobs is email management,
Yeah, for sure.
and like one of the things when you have so much coming to one email, and this is actually something I decided I'm going to change.
Yeah.
And everything that we do usually comes from a pain point, right? Um, so I get hundreds of emails a day, hundreds. And I had made the mistake of giving my Joanna at Top Flight email to Humana, Aetna, Wellcare,
Everybody. Yeah.
you know, and what happens is they all send me 20 emails a day.
Right.
Hey, there's an SCP in Oklahoma.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
but that shouldn't have gone to that email.
Right.
Now I'm of the thought I need an email just for carriers,
You really do.
just for carriers. So I'm going to have a contracted email. And then as soon as I'm contracted, I'm going to go into that carrier. I'm going to have Emma go into that carrier and update the email to carrier at Top Flight. And she's going to see if I need to read any of those. So I'm going to stop everything from coming to Joanna. That's just a newsletter update like that,
Yep.
But that doesn't need to come to my email anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
love that. I think that's really smart. There is so much that comes from these carriers. That's why, and then it's like, we retract the last email. Oh, there's a compliance change. Oh, different chain. Like it's crazy to see how many.
One carrier sends me an email for every state I'm licensed in.
Uh,
25 emails later. Anyways, but those are things that I was
ouch.
like, you know what? This is a pain point, but we can fix it. And this is how I'm going to make it better. And she
Yeah.
can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I tell her, I was like, I don't want to see emails from Delta, the steak place I buy everyone steaks from, Omaha Steaks. I was like, because they send 20 emails a day trying to get you to buy more steak and buy more. I was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, those I have to go through a different email now. What
100%.
else am I going to do with Emma? So she's going to learn. So, you can do a lot with Zapier. It's not just like
Sure.
constant contact. So I'm going to have her figure out what else we can use Zapier for because it's connected to a lot of apps, right?
Yeah.
And so that's going to be her job tomorrow. While I'm hosting some trainings, is to figure out how else we can start getting her time back too. Because I don't want her sitting there all day getting carpal tunnel if we can just zap it.
100%. Yeah. The data entry, that's spreadsheets are an amazing thing, but they can also be the death of you or the death of the company. We had to have like a full blown intervention at Lead Heroes at one point because there were so many different spreadsheets and so many people doing data entry, and I'm like, guys, like this is insane. Like this is insane. Like we need to centralize a lot of like it's either not important and it doesn't need to be typed up into a spreadsheet, or we need to centralize these spreadsheets and have like a master spreadsheet that one person is entering that everyone can access. Because yeah, it was a huge time suck when you've got 5 or 10 different people all essentially doing the same thing in their own spreadsheets. The automation thing, and I think mindset wise, I think a lot of agents are like, it's either technology or an assistant's doing it. I think there's the sweet spots when it comes together, like what you're talking about, like having technology managed by a virtual assistant, freeing up your time, maximizing their time. That's the key. And I think you're really starting. I'm excited because I think you're really starting to figure that out.
I'm really trying to delegate
Yeah.
some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think the VIP system is probably going to be the best. If I can have her answer the phone, and I mean, think about it. How often do you get your doctor on the phone?
It doesn't happen.
Right.
Doesn't happen. 100%.
Even for her to take a live message from me and say, hey, Joanna, Glenn just called. He wants to know if you can do a Zoom tomorrow at 6.
Yeah.
That would have been, way easier than for me to even listen to voicemails.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I I hate listening to voicemails and I hate calling people back. Those are my two biggest pet peeves.
Voice. Yeah. I can't. One of my favorite things with Apple is that you can email the voicemail. So if I think it's an important voicemail, I'll email that
On
to
my
my
voicemail, I
assistant.
say, don't leave me a voicemail, text me or email me.
Yeah.
Don't leave me a voicemail.
No, after the beep, hang up, please. Do not.
Please.
One thing, this is a little off topic, but in the next iOS update, you're gonna be able to answer the phone during the voicemail. So
Uh-huh.
you know how the old school voicemail, like, you know, 80s, 90s, you could listen to that voicemail and then you could literally pick it up and be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Like that's coming to the iPhone now,
Oh,
which I
wow.
thought, yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting, but it's kind of
Huh.
a tangent there. Yeah, you've got to get the VoIP. That's your homework from today's live is the
My
VoIP
VIP.
system. Yeah,
Yeah.
is the VoIP system. That's the homework. Lean on Lisa. She's incredible. I know she'd be more than happy to help you. She's been super genuine about helping others in similar
Uh-huh.
situations. So I think once you get that delegated, port your number, get a new number, start having your calendar managed for you. You know, now you're going to have email, text messages, phone calls, voicemails. You'll really start to separate. And I think that's when you'll really start to see
I might
some
just be at
serious
the
growth.
pool.
Yeah, right behind you. You'll be in one of those reclining chairs right there. I think this needs to be its own segment. Um, JoJo's journey,
I like that.
outsource insurance outsourcing, the experience of
Letting go of
Joanna
the
Wyckoff.
brain. Like it's hard because like, especially like trusting someone to do it well enough and or to accept correction, like I have her CC in me in the beginning, like when she does something for the first couple of times, I have her CC me so I can make sure it's correct and stuff, right?
Yeah,
But when it's not, I just say, hey, can you correct this or do it like this and everything like that. And some people, like, we're just never meant to be in a VA, because you have to accept correction and be like, no, I mean, I'm expecting them to understand what I'm thinking in my head,
right,
and I
right.
have to like translate it so they can understand it by written or verbal communication.
Yep,
And some people be like, Joanna's the worst, you know. But she's always been very gracious and everything. And like when she didn't understand, I was talking about merging some worksheets together. I was like, we have two worksheets that seem to double some work for you. So
right.
let's see if we can merge them together and see if constant contact will still work if we merge them together. I
Yep,
don't know. I don't know how constant contact is pulling it off. But I was trying to make her life easier and just I have to make sure I articulate myself, that's all. Um, but yeah, I have to like think about tonight what I need her to do tomorrow. So she's not sitting there going, Joanna, I'm sitting right
JoJo,
here.
hello, yeah, yeah.
Hello.
I think I think on the control aspect, you have to be okay with like 80, 85%. Like you have to understand. And for me, like appointment setting, that was my first big task when I
Mhm.
hired my first VA was appointment setting. And there was no VA that I could hire that was going to set an appointment like me. You know, I'm a licensed agent. I'm already looking at the sale beyond the appointment. So
Right.
I if I set an appointment for myself and I'm also kind of qualifying for the sale and then I get in there and I already kind of know what to expect and I know where the sale's going, like there's no VA I can hire that's going to have that
Right.
same type. Now, you can hire great, you can train them really well. You can hire someone who's qualified and they can do a lot of that, but there's still going to be a 10, 15, 20% between what you would have done if you had done it. But if you come into that with the mindset of that and you plan for it, I think it makes a huge difference. And because again, you're getting all your time back. I
I
got
don't even think
20
it's gonna
hours
be
a
that.
week back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even think it's going to be that big of a discrepancy. With
Yeah.
the contract, and it was the same. Like, I
That's
mean,
true. Some stuff it is the exact same. You're absolute. Some stuff it's literally no different. If I mean data entry,
yeah,
spreadsheets.
the
I
data
mean, come on.
entry, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's even better. Like the constant contact thing, I didn't know how to do a newsletter, and I didn't have the capacity to sit here and watch Google videos, YouTube videos of how to do it. Like I
Yep.
have a very, it's a personality trait. I have a very, like, if I need it done now, I needed it done yesterday kind of thing,
Yeah.
like I can't sit here and watch a YouTube video when Eileen needs my help. I see her calling, like I just can't, like I can't like fathom
Right.
like taking that time away from something that's so important, And so I said, hey, watch. I told her, I said, do all the research you need to figure out how to connect Zapier to this. I was like, I
Yep.
don't care how many hours it takes you to research and, you know, make that your priority, is to make this process simpler. Because if she took the 5-10 hours to figure out Zapier, it's going to save us hundreds on the back end.
100%. Absolutely. Guys, if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay once this gets posted, I'm going to make sure to share this through our email list on our YouTube channel. Drop a comment below if you have any questions about outsourcing. If you have questions for Joanna about Top Flight, obviously an incredible agency IMO to work with. If you're looking for a home, highly recommend Joanna. But yeah, drop a question below if you have anything that comes up to mind where you're like, wait, you guys were talking about what's VoIP? How do I hire someone that doesn't sit in front of me? What's a virtual assistant? Joanna, I would love to be able to answer those questions for you. But the goal, you guys, what I'm working with Joanna on is giving every few weeks, jumping on a live like this and kind of walking through her journey, because she's not alone. She's not alone. Everyone has to start somewhere with outsourcing, with delegating, with letting go, with growing. And the goal is to kind of document this for, you know, anyone who's going through the same situation. And also to give you guys kind of a peek behind the scenes. What is it like trying to grow an IMO?
Yeah.
You know, what is it like to hire a virtual assistant to build a team? That's what this whole conversation is about. So I'm super excited. I really am. I think there's a lot of value that gets uh, given to the agent when this conversation happens publicly.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, Glenn, that I did this 6 years ago. Nobody told me back in 2016, when I was still working full time at Social Security, that I could have had somebody calling my leads and scheduling my appointments for me.
100%.
Nobody told me that I could have had an Emma calling the carriers for me when I was sitting at Social Security going, oh my God, when am I going to call Humana to get this freaking fixed? I'm here from 9 to 5. I was just discussing this with Chris. I was like, sometimes people can't just quit their day job, right?
Right.
But how do you do the business part-time and on the nights and weekends when the carriers are 9 to 5, right?
Right. It's very hard.
Or if you don't have the skill set, like I didn't have a good phone skill set. I was terrified, even though I called people all the time from Social Security.
Right.
But it's different when it's like, ring, ring, hey, Glenn, it's Joanna calling from Social Security. I'm calling to give you a check,
Yep.
versus, hey, Cynthia, I got your postcard in the mail, and, and I sucked at sales. I sucked at booking appointments. And I struggled for years trying to figure out how to book my appointments part-time when I could have delegated that. So you don't
Yep.
have to be amazing at everything. You can just figure out how to delegate it. I wish I knew I could have delegated a lot of this BS so I could
100%.
just focus on the sales, because I didn't get sales because I couldn't get the appointment because I sucked at appointment setting.
You don't have to do it alone. Even if it is a part-time, even if you're new, you can, you don't have to have a giant office building. You don't have to hire, 10 people here in this, like, there's so many misconceptions that I think a lot of people have. Again, something that I'm excited about this conversation with you and having these updates like this is I'm hoping we can kind of dispel a lot of these myths that I think a lot of people have about what success looks like. What do I have to do to be successful? And yeah, I mean, I wish I had known years sooner too. I did everything by myself for years.
You
I
don't have
never,
to.
yeah, yeah, you don't have to. You
If
don't
you
have to
suck
do it
at
alone.
data entry, outsource it. If
Yeah.
you suck at calling, outsource it. All you have to
Technology.
all you
Yeah.
have to know how to do is how to, well, you don't even have to fill out the application. You can have Emma do that too and email to your client, like you just have to be able to close, really. But like, I mean, I wish I knew that I didn't have to figure out how to do all of my own stuff. And because that's what a lot
Right.
of people preach. This is how you dial. This is how we dial for an entire day
Right.
to book appointments for tomorrow. You don't
100%.
have to give up an entire day of dialing when your hour is valued at $300-400 an hour. You can have an Emma, a Lisa, a Glenn do it.
Yep.
You can outsource the dialing, so you're actually just selling every day, all day, and or whatever you want. You could be out in the pool. I don't care. But if you suck at it, or if you don't like it, outsource it. And that's what my mentality is now. It's like, if I don't like it, if I suck at it, I'm going to outsource it.
100%. And that's, I mean, even if you do like it, you might need to outsource it, right? Like
Right. And
from
I
a
like
time,
a lot of tasks, but I
yeah,
still have to outsource it.
exactly. Like from a time perspective, your time is just so limited. You just
We
have
only
to
have
focus
24 hours
on.
a day. There's no
I know,
more gaining extra time.
we all do.
Glenn, a lot of people think, I want to dispel a myth.
Let's do it. Mythbusters.
True or false?
Okay.
Time is free.
False. False.
A lot of people say, hey, call me when you get a free moment. Call me when you get some free time. Who
Yep.
got free time? It's not free. It's what I choose to do with that time.
I would actually say the opposite. Not only is time not free, I would say time is probably more expensive than just about any other resource you have access to, because it's so limited. It's so limited. And I think from a mindset point of view, if you can really take that in mentally, I think it changes everything. Changes how you go day to day. Changes everything.
I don't watch TV. People don't know this. I don't spend hours watching TV like I did before I got an insurance license. Because I'm like, why am I going to sit here and waste hours a day when I can utilize this time in a different capacity and change my future?
Right.
If I by the way, if I do watch TV, it's Naked and Afraid. But other than that, my TV's not on. No, I'm not watching. It might be watching me, but I'm not watching it, and people are like, oh, Joanna, you're always working. I'm trying to buy an island, damn it. But it's like, I'm 40, I'm healthy. Like right now, relatively, I wasn't always healthy. I'm trying to reclaim the years I lost. I mean, I have to build an empire sooner than later,
Now's the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to
100%.
be like many of these people that we see that only have their Social Security. Who wants to live off of $2,000 a month?
Yeah, not me.
Not me. Islands are more expensive than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Well, hey, listen, Joanna, I want to be respectful of your time. I really appreciate you going live. Again, giving us a peek behind the scenes, seeing what's going on, what's working, what's not working. And guys, stay tuned. We're going to be doing these every few weeks. We want to, again, provide this experience, this journey to agents who are in that same boat, that same mindset. How do I do this? How do I hire someone? How do I grow my business? How do I become an agency from an agent? So yeah, super excited to continue this conversation. Appreciate you going live. Appreciate everybody here at Medicare Mentors who is watching, who might be commenting on this or who has questions. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for being, an admin in the group and everything. Got a ton of value, ton of experience and everything. I'm just excited that you had knocked me over the head and told me that I was being dumb, not using some outsourcing and everything. And I was,
Sure.
I never imagined I can outsource some of the stuff that we do. Nobody thinks that they can,
Yeah, no, for sure. You're totally right. Yeah, I'm excited. I think the future is bright. I really do. So we're going island shopping here soon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.